carry coals.
No, but then we should be colliers.
Ah, I mean, and we being collar will draw.
Aye, while you live, draw your neck out of collar.
I strike quickly, being moved.
But thou art not quickly moved to strike.
A dog of the house of Montague moves me.
To move is to stir, to be valiant is to stand. Therefore, if thou art moved, thou runst away.
A dog of that house shall move me to stand. I will take the wall of any man or maid of Montague.
That shows thee a weak slave, for the weakest goes to the wall.
'Tis true, therefore, women being the weaker vessel, are ever thrust to the wall. Therefore, I will push Montague's men from the wall and thrust his maids to the wall.
The quarrels between our masters and us their men.
'Tis all one. I will show myself a tyrant. And when I have fought with the men, I will be civil. With the maids, I will cut off their heads.
The heads of the maids?
Aye, the heads of the maids, or their maiden heads. Take it in what sense thy wilt.
They must take it in sense that feel it.
Me they shall feel while I'm able to stand. And 'tis known I am a pretty piece of flesh.
'Tis well thou art not fish. If thou hast been poor, John. Oh, draw thy tools. Here comes from the house of Montague.
Poor, my naked weapon is out. Poor, I will back thee.
Help, turn thy back and run.
Fear me not.
No, Mary, I fear thee.
Let us take the law of our side. Let them begin.
Oh, I will frown as they pass by, and let them take it as they list.
Nay, as they dare, I will bite my thumb at them, which is a disgrace to them if they bear it.
Do you bite your thumb at us, sir?
I do bite my thumb, sir.
Do you bite your thumb at us, sir?
Is the law on our side if I say I?
No.
No, sir. I do not bite my thumb at you, sir. But I do bite my thumb, sir.
Do you quarrel, sir?
Well, sir? No, sir.
But if you do, I am for you. I serve as good a man as you.
No better?
Well, sir?
Say, better. Here comes one of my master's kinsmen.
Yes, better, sir.
You lie.
Draw if you be men. Gregory, remember thy washing blood.
If ever you disturb our streets again,
pay the forfeit of the peace. For this time, all the rest depart away. You, Capulet, shall go along with me. And Montague, come you this afternoon to know our farther pleasure in this case. To old Freetown, our common judgment place. Once more, on pain of death, all men depart!
Who's at this ancient quarrel no approach? Speak, nephew! Will you violently begin?
Here were the servants of your adversary, and yours close fighting ere I did approach. I drew to part. In the instant came the fiery Tybalt with his sword prepared, which, as he breathed defiance to my ears, he swung about his head and cut the winds, who, nothing hurt withal, hissed him in scorn. As we interchanged our thrusts and blows, came more and more, who fought on part and part, until the prince came, who parted either part.
Where's Romeo? Saw you him today? Right glad I am he was not at this fray.
Oh, madam, an hour before the worshipped sun peered forth the golden window of the east. A troubled mind drove me to walk abroad, where underneath the grove of sycamore that west rebuteth this city's side, so early walking did I see your son.
Many a morning hath he there been seen, with tears augmenting the fresh morning's dew, adding to clouds, more clouds, with his deep sighs. Black and pretentious must this humor prove, unless good counsel may the cause remove.
My noble uncle, do you know the cause?
I neither know it nor can learn it.
Have you importuned him by any means?
Both! By myself and many other friends. But he is his own affection's counselor, I will not say how true. Could we but learn from whence his sorrows grow, we would willingly give cure as no.
See, where he comes. So please you, step aside. I will know his grievance will be much denied.
I would thou wert so happy by my stay, to hear true shrift. Come, madam, let's away.
Good morrow, cuz.
The day's so young.
But you struck 9.
I mean, sad hours seem long. Was that my father went so fast?
Was? What sadness lengthens Romeo's hours?
Not having that which having makes them short.
In love?
Out.
Of love?
Out of her favor where I am in love.
Alas, that love so gentle in his view should be so rough and tyrannous in proof.
Alas, that love whose view is muffled still, should without eyes, pathways to his will. Where shall we dine? Me, what bray was here? Yet tell me not, for I've heard it all. Here's much to do with hate, but more with love. Why then? O brawling love, O loving hate, O anything of nothing first create, O heavy lightness, serious vanity, misshapen chaos of well-seeming forms, feather of lead, bright smoke, cold fire, sick health, still waking sleep, that is not what it is. This love feel I feel no love in this. Dost thou not laugh?
No, cuz I rather weep.
Good heart at what?
At thy good heart's oppression.
Why, such is love's transgression. Griefs of mine own lie heavy in my breast, which thou wilt propagate to have it more, press to more of thine. This love that thou hast shown doth that more grief too much in mine own. Love is a smoke raised with fumes of sighs, being purged of fire, sparkling lover's eyes, being vexed, a sea nourished loving tears. What is it else? A madness most discreet, a choking gall, and a preserving sweet. Farewell, my cuz.
But talk then, go on. And if you leave me so, you do me wrong.
Tut, I have lost myself. I am not here. This is not Romeo, for he is some other where.
Tell me in sadness who is it that you love?
In sadness, cousin, I do love a woman.
I aim so near when I suppose you love.
A right good mark, then. She's fair, I love.
A right fair mark, fair cuz, as soon as hit.
And in that hit, you miss. She will not be hit with Cupid's arrow. She has Diane's wit, and in strong proof and chastity, well armed with love's sweet childish bow, she lives uncharmed.
Then she hath sworn she was still in chase.
She hath, and in that fair image, huge waist. She hath forsworn to love, and in that vow do I live dead that live to tell it now.
Be ruled by me. Forget to think of her.
Teach me how to forget to think.
By giving liberty to thine eyes, examine other, beauties.
He that is struck blind cannot forget the precious treasure of his eyesight lost. Show me a mistress who's passing fair. What doth her beauty serve but as a note where I may read who passed that passing fair?
Ah.
Farewell, thou canst not teach me to forget.
I'll pay that doctrine or else die in debt.
But Montague is bound as well as I in penalty alike, and 'tis not so hard, I think, for men as old as we to keep the peace.
Of honorable reckoning are you both, and pity 'tis you've been at odds so long, but now, my lord, what say you to my suit?
I say more than I had said before. My child is yet a stranger in this world. She hath not seen the change of 14 years. Let 2 more summers wither in their pride, ere we may think her to be a right bride.
Younger than she, or happy mother's maid.
And too soon marred by those so early made. Earth has swallowed all my hopes but she. She's the hopeful lady of my earth. But woo her, gentle parents, get her heart. My will to her consent is but apart, and she agreed within her scope of choice lies my consent and fair according voice. At my poor house tonight, look to behold earth-treading stars that make the dark heavens light. Sirrah! Come, trudge about through fair Verona, find those out whose names are written there, do them say my house, and welcome on their pleasure stay. Come, go with me.
Oh, find them out whose names are written here? It is written that the shoemaker should meddle with his yarn, and the tailor with his lath, the fisher with his pencil, and the painter with his nets. But I am sent to find out the persons whose names are here writ, and can never find what names the writing person hath here writ. Oh, I must do the learned.
Tut, man, one fire burns out another's burning, one pain is lessened by another's languish. Turn giddy, and be helped by backward turning. Take one desperate grievous cure with another's languish. Take thou some new infection to thy eye, and the rank poison of the old will die.
Well, your plantain leaf is excellent for that.
For what, I pray thee?
For your broken shin.
Why, Romeo, art thou mad?
Not mad, but bound more than a madman is. Shut up in prison, kept without his food, whipped and tormented, and... Good evening, good fellow.
God give good ear. I pray, sir, can you read?
Ah, if mine own fortune is my misery.
Perhaps you learned it without book. But I pray, sir, can you read anything you see?
Ah, if I know the letters and the language.
You say honestly, resty Mary.
Stay, fellow! I can read. Signor Martino and his wife and daughters, Count Anselm and his beauteous sisters, the Lady of Vitruvio, Signor Valencio and his lovely nieces, Mercutio and his brother Valentine, my uncle Capulet, his wife and daughters, my fair niece Rosaline, and Livia, Signor Valencio and his cousin Tybalt, Lucio and the lively Helena. A fair assembly, whither should they come?
Up
Whither to supper?
to our house?
Whose house?
My master's.
Indeed, I should ask thee that before.
Well, now I'll tell you without asking. My master is the great, rich Capulet. And if you not be of the house of Montagues, I pray, come and crush a cup of wine. Oh, resty Mary.
At this same ancient feast of Capulet sups the fair Rosaline, who thou so loves, with all the admired beauties of Verona. Go thither, and with unattainted eye compare her face with some that I shall show, and I will make thee think thy swan a crow.
One fairer than my love. The all-seeing sun ne'er saw her met since first the world begun.
Tut, man, you saw her fair, none else being by, herself poised with herself in either eye. But in those crystal scales let there be weighed your lady's love against another maid that I will show you shining at the feast, and thou shalt sketch so well that now show's best.
I'll go along. No such sight to be shown, but to rejoice in splendors of mine own.
Nurse, where's my daughter? Call her forth to me. Now, by my maidhood at 12 years old, I bade her come. What lamb? What ladybird? God forbid, where's this girl? With Julia.
How now, who calls?
Your mother.
Madam, I am here. What is your will?
This is the matter. Nurse, give me a while. We must talk in secret. Nurse, come back again. I have remembered me. Thou hear our counsel. Thou knowest my daughter is of a pretty age. Faith, I can tell her age into an hour. She's not 14. I'll lay 14 of my teeth, and yet to my teeth be it spoken, I have but 4. How long is it now till Lammas time? A fortnight and odd days. Ah, even or odd of all the days of the year. Come Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14. Susan and she, God rest all Christian souls, were of an age. Well, Susan is with God. She was too good for me. But, as I said, on Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14. That shall she. And Mary, since the earthquake now 11 years, when she was weaned, I never shall forget it. For of all the days of the year, I had then laid wormwood to my dove, sitting in the sun under the dove house wall. My lord and you were then at Mantua. Nay, I do bear a brain, but as I said, when it did taste the wormwood on the nipple of my dove, and Felt it bitter, pretty fool, to see it titchy and fall out with the dove. Sure, quoth the dove house. 'Twas no need I trod to bid me trudge, and since that time it is 11 years. For then she could stand by the room, nay, by herself. She could have run and waddled all about, for even the day before she broke her brow. And then my husband, God be with his soul, was he a merry man, took up the child. Hey, quoth he, dost thou fall upon my face? Thou wilt fall backward when thou hast more wit. Wilt thou not, Jewel? And by my holy dame, the pretty wench left crying and said, to see now how it just shall come about, and I warrant I shall live 1,000 years, I never shall forget it. Wilt thou not, Jewel, quoth he? Pretty fool and stinted and said I. Enough of this, I pray you, thy peace. Yes, madam.
And sit thou too, I pray thee, nurse, say I.
Peace, I have done. God mark thee to his grace. Thou wert the prettiest babe that e'er I nursed, and I might live to see thee married once. I have my wish.
Mary! That, Mary, is the very theme I came to talk of. Tell me, daughter Juliet, how stands your disposition to be married? It is an honor that I bring not of.
An honor, were not I thine only nurse, I would say thou sucked wisdom from thy chip.
Well, think on marriage now. Younger than you, here in Verona, ladies of esteem are made already mothers. By my count, I was your mother much upon these years that you are now a maid. Thus then in brief, the valiant Paris seeks you for his love.
A lady, young man, lady, such a man, as all the world wide. He's the man of wax.
Verona's summer hath not such a flower.
Nay, a flower in faith, a very flower.
What say you? Can you love the gentleman? Tonight we shall behold him at our feast. Read o'er the volume of young Paris' face, and find delight writ there with beauty's pen. Examine every merry lineament, and see how one another lends content. And what obscured in that fair volume lies, find written in the margin of his eyes. This precious book of love, this unbound lover, to beautify him only lacks a cover. The fish lives in the sea, and 'tis much pride for fair without the fair within to hide. That book in many's eyes doth share the glories, that in gold clasps locks in the golden story. So shall you share all that he doth possess, in having him making yourself no less.
No less, nay bigger. Women grow by man.
Speak briefly. Can you like Paris, love?
Look, like it, looking like you move. But no more deep will I dart mine eye, but your consent gives strength to make it fly.
Oh, madame! The guests are come, supper served, you called. My young lady asked for. The nurse! Curse them and and everything else in extremity. I must hence to wait. I beseech you, follow Serene!
We follow thee. Juliet, the county stays.
Go, girl.
Seek happy nights to happy days.
What? Shall I speak these awful arts to you, or shall we on without apology?
The days of such bullets, but let them measure us by what they will. We'll measure them a measure, and be gone.
Give me a torch. I am not for this ambling. Being but heavy, I will bear the light.
Nay, gentle Romeo, we must have you dance.
I believe you. You have dancing shoes with nimble soles. I have a soul of lead, so stakes me to the ground. I cannot move.
You are a lover, poor on Cupid's wings, and soar with the wrong bow.
I am too sore and pierced with this shaft to soar on light feathers, and so bound, I cannot bound the pitch above dull woe. Under love's heavy burdens do I sink.
And to sink in it should you burn than love. Too great depression for such a tender thing.
Is love a tender thing? It is too rough, too rude, too boisterous, and it pricks like thorn.
If love be rough with you, be rough with love. Prick love for prick.
Come, knock and enter, and no sooner in but every man be taken to his legs.
A torch to me. Let wanted light apart singleness and such rushes with their heels. For I am proverb with a grandsire phrase. I'll be a candle holder and look on. The game was ne'er so fair, and I am done.
Tut, done's the mouse, the constable's own work. If thou art done, we'll draw thee from the mire, or
Save your reference love. When thou sticks up to the ears, come, we burn daylight, ho!
Hey, that's not so!
I mean, sir, in delay, we waste our lights in vain, like lights by day. Take our good meaning, for our judgment sits 5 times in that, ere once in our fine wits.
We mean well we're going to this mass, but 'tis no way to go.
Why, may one ask?
I dreamt a dream tonight.
And so did I.
Well, what was yours?
That dreamers often lie.
Yes, what you dream things true.
Oh, then I see Queen Mab hath been with you.
Queen Mab, what's she?
She is the fairy's midwife, and she comes in a shape no bigger than an agate stone on the forefinger of an alderman, drawn with the teeth of little atomies over men's noses as they lie asleep. Her wagon smokes, made of long spinners' legs, the cover of the wings of grasshoppers. Her traces of the smallest spider's web, her collars of the moonshine's watery beams. Her whip, a cricket ball, a lash, a fill. Her wagoner, a small, gray-coated habit, not half so big as a round little worm pricked from the lazy finger of a maid. Her chariot is empty of hazelnut, made by the joiner squirrel of old grub. Time out of mind, Ferris coachmakers. And in this state, she gallops! That twilight through lover's brains, and then they dream of love. On courtiers' knees who dream on curtsies straight, or lawyers' fingers who straight dream on feet, or ladies' lips who straight on kisses dream. Which oft the angry man with blisters blaze, because their breaths with sweet beats tainted off. Sometimes she gallops over a courtier's nose, and then dreams he is smelling out his suit. And sometimes comes she with a tied pig's tail, tickling a parson's nose as he lies asleep. Then dreams he of another benefice. And sometimes she drives below a soldier's neck, and then dreams he of cutting foreign throats, of breeches, and mosquitoes, Spanish blades, of helps, 5 fathom deep, till anon, drums in his ear, at which he starts and wakes, and being thus frighted, swears a prayer or two, and sleeps again. This is the very Mab that plats the manes of horses in the night, and bakes the elf locks in foul sluttish hairs, which once untangled much misfortuned bones. Now, this is the hag, when maids lie on their backs, that presses them and learns them first to bear, making them women of good carriage. This is she!
Peace! Peace, O Krishna, peace. Thou talks of nothing.
True, I talk of dreams, which are the children of an idle brain, begot of nothing but vain fantasy, which is as thin a substance as air, and more inconstant than the wind, who woos even now the frozen bosom of the north, and being angered, puffs away from thence, turning his face to the dew-dropping south.
Speak. This wind you speak of, it blows us from ourselves. Supper is done, and we shall come too late.
I fear too early, for my mind misgives some consequence, yet hanging in the stars shall bitterly begin his fearful date with this night's revels, and expire the term of a despised life closed in my breast by some vile forfeit of untimely death.
Romeo! Welcome, gentlemen!
Ladies and gentlemen, the microphone to you now deny to dance. Come, musicians, play! but of what 2 years ago.
Daughter!
What lady is that doth enrich the hand of yonder knight?
I know not, sir.
She doth keep the torches that burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night like a rich jewel in Ethiop's ear. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. So shows a snowy dove trooping with crows, as yonder lady o'er her fellow shows. The measure done, I will watch her places stand, and, touching hers, make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now? Forswear its sight, for I ne'er saw true beauty till this night.
This by his voice to be a Montague. Pass me my rapier. What? Dares the slate to come hither, covered with an antic face, to fleer and scorn at our solemnity? Now, by the stock and honor of my kin, to strike him dead I hold it not sin.
I have seen the day that I have worn a mask. Tell a whispering tale of beauty such as 'tis gone. What? How come you? Wherefore storm you so?
Uncle, this is a Montague, our foe, a villain that has hither come in spite this thwarted our solemnities.
Young Romeo, is it?
'Tis he, that villain Romeo.
Content thee, gentle cousin. Let him alone. He bears him like a portly gentleman. And to say truth, Verona brags of him to be a virtuous and well-governed youth. I would not for the wealth of all the town here in my house do him disparagement, an ill-beseeming semblance for a feast.
Feast when such a villainous guest, I'll not endure him.
He shall be endured. What, goodman boy? I say he shall. Go to. Am I the master here or you? Go to. You'll not endure him.
Why, uncle, 'tis a shame.
You are a saucy boy. Is it so indeed? This trick may chance to scathe you. I know what, you must contrary it. Mary, 'tis time! You are a princess. Go. Be quiet or for shame. More light, more light! Hey, you quiet. What cheerly my heart.
I will withdraw, but this intrusion now seeming sweet, shall convert to bitter as gall.
If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle sin is this: my lips, two blushing pilgrims, ready stand to smooth the rough touch of a tender kiss.
The good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much, which manly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is with palmer's kiss.
Not saints' lips and holy palmers too?
I pilgrim lips they must use in prayer.
Then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray. Grant thou, thus they turn to despair.
Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake.
And move not, while my prayers effects I take. Thus, by thine, my sin is purged.
Then have my lips as in a day of took.
Sin from thy lips, O trespass sweetly urged, give me my sin again.
Now Romeo is beloved and loves again, alike bewitched by the charm of looks. But to his foe supposed he must complain, and she still loves sweet bait from fearful hooks. Being held a foe, he may not have access to breathe such vows as lovers use to swear, and she as much in love, her means much less to meet her new beloved anywhere. But passion lends them power, time
dear account, my life is my boast's debt.
Oh, wait now, the sport is at the best.
Aye, so I fear, the more is my unrest.
Come hither, nurse. What is your gentleman?
I know not.
Go ask his name. If he be married, my grave is like to be my wedding bed.
His name is Romeo, and a Montague, the only son of your great enemy.
My only love sprung from my only hate.
Juliet! Anon, come, let's away from me. Stranger's always on.
Can I go forward when my heart is here? Turn back, though, earth, and find thy center out.
Romeo! 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 My cousin Romeo!
He is wise, and all my life hath stolen home to bed.
He ran this way and left that orchard wall. A call, good Mercutio.
Nay, I'll conjure too. Romeo! Few words, madman, passion, lover. Appear thou in the likeness of a sigh. Speak but one rhyme and I am satisfied. Cry, but I, me, and I'll put love and dove. Speak to my gossip Venus, one fair word, one nickname for her purblind son and heir, young Abraham Cupid. He the shot, so true, when King Cophetua loved the beggar maid. He heareth not, he stirreth not, he moveth not. The ape is dead, and I must conjure him. I conjure thee by Rosaline's bright eyes, by her high forehead and smart lip, by her fine foot, straight leg, and quivering thigh, and the domain that their adjacent lies, that in thy likeness thou appear to us.
And if he hear thee, thou wilt anger him.
This cannot anger him. 'Twould anger him to raise a spirit in his mistress's circle, or some strange nature, letting it there stand till she had laid it and conjured it down. That was spite. My information is fair and honest. In his mistress's name I conjure only but to rise up him.
Come, he hath hidden himself among the trees to be consorted with the humorous knight. Blind is his love, and best befits the dark.
If love be blind, love cannot hit the mark. Now will he sit under a medlar tree and wish his mistress for that kind of fruit, as maids call that. Oh, Romeo, the she were. Oh, the she were an open horse and hooker and pear. Romeo, good night. Out to my truckled bed. This field bed is too cold for me to sleep. Come, shall we go?
Go then, for 'tis in vain to seek him here, which means not to be found.
He jested scars that never felt a wound. Soft. What light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun! Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief, that thou, her maid, art far more fair than she. Be not her maid, since she is envious. Her vestal livery's but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it. Cast it off! It is my lady. Oh, it is my love. Oh, that you knew she were. She speaks, yet she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses, I will answer it. I am too bold. 'Tis not to me she speaks. Two of the fairest stars in all the heavens, having some business, do entreat her eyes to twinkle and their spirits may return. What if her eyes were there, and they in her head? The brightness of her cheek would shame those stars as daylight doth the lamp. Her eye in heaven would through the airy regions stream so bright that birds would sing and think it were not night. See how she leans her hand upon her cheek? Oh, that I were a glove upon that cheek, a hand that I might touch that cheek.
Ay me,
speaks! Oh, speak again, bright angel. For thou art as glorious to this night, being o'er my head, as is a winged messenger of heaven unto the white, upturned and wondering eyes of mortals who fall back to gaze on him when he bestrides the lazy puffing clouds and sails on the bosom of the air.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. Or, if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, then I'll no longer be a Capulet.
Shall I hear more, or shall I speak at this?
'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What's Montague? It is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to man. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other word would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and for that name which is no part of thee, take all myself.
I take thee at thy word. Call me beloved, and I will be new baptized. Henceforth I will never be Romeo.
What man art thou that thus bescreened and next so stumblest on my counsel?
By a name, I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear sake, is hateful to myself because it is an enemy to thee. Had I it written, I would tear the word.
My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of thy tongue's uttering, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo, and the Montague?
Neither, fair maid, if either thee dislike.
How camest thou hither? Tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place death, considering who thou art, if any of my kinsmen find thee here.
With love's light wings do I o'erperch these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out, and what love can do, that dares love attempt. Therefore thy kinsmen are no let to me.
I would not for the world this, or if they do see thee, they will murder thee.
Alack, there lies more peril than thine eyes than 20 of their swords. Look thou but sweet, and I am proof against their enmity.
I would not for the world they saw thee here.
I have night's cloak to hide me from their eyes. And wilt thou love me? Let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate than death prorogued wanting of thy love.
By whose direction foundest thou out this place?
By love. That first did prompt me to inquire. He let me counsel, and I led demise. I am no pilot, yet wert thou as far as the vast shore washed with the farthest sea? I would adventure for such merchandise.
Thou know'st the mask of night is on my face. Else would a maiden blush but paint my cheek for that which thou hast heard me speak tonight. Fain would I dwell on form, fain deny what I have spoke, but farewell compliment. Dost thou love me? I know thou wilt say aye, and I will take thy word. Yet if thou swearst, thou mayst prove false. That lovers' perjuries, they say, Jove laughs. Oh, gentle Romeo, if thou dost love, pronounce it faithfully. Or, if thou thinkst I too quickly won, I'll frown and be perverse and say thee nay, so thou wilt rue. But else, not for the world. In truth, fair Montague, I am too fond, and therefore thou mayst think my behavior light. But trust me, gentlemen, I'll prove more true than those that have more cunning to be strange. I should have been more strange, I must confess, but that thou overheardst ere I was ware, my true love's passion. Therefore pardon me, and not refute this yielding to light love which the dark night shall discover.
Lady, by yonder blessed moon I vow, that tick would silver all these fruit tree tops.
Swear not by the moon, the inconstant moon, that monthly changes in her circle orb, lest thy love prove likewise variable.
What should I swear by?
Do not swear at all. Or, if thou wilt, swear by thy gracious self, which is the god of my idolatry, and I'll believe thee.
My heart's dear love.
Well, do not swear. Although I joy in thee, I have no joy at this contrast tonight. It is too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like the lightning which does cease to be ere one can say it lightens. Sweet, good night. This bud of love by summer's ripening breath may prove a beauteous flower when next we meet. Good night. Good night. As sweet repose and rest come to thy heart, is that within my breast.
Oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied?
What satisfaction canst thou have tonight?
The exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine.
I gave thee mine before thou didst request it, and yet I wouldn't word to give again.
Where's thou withdraw it? For what purpose, love?
But to be frank and give it thee again. And yet I wish but for the thing I
dream, too flattering, sweet to be substantial.
3 words, dear Romeo, and good night indeed. If that thy bent of love be honorable, thy purpose marriage, send me word tomorrow by one that I'll procure to come to thee, where in what time thou wilt perform the rite, and all my fortunes at thy foot I'll lay, and follow thee, my lord, throughout the world.
Madam!
I come on! But if thou meanest not well, I do beseech thee.
Madam!
I come! To cease thy strife, and leave me to my grief. Tomorrow will I send.
So thrive my soul.
1,000 times good night.
1,000 times the worst to want thy light. Love goes toward love like schoolboys from their books, but love from love toward school with heavy looks.
Romeo, oh, for falconer's voice to lure this tassel gentle back again. Bondage is hoarse and may not speak aloud, else would I tear the cave where echo lies and make her airy tongue more hoarse than mine, with repetition of my Romeo.
But it's my soul that calls upon my name, that sips with, that calls upon my name. How sweet silver sounds lovers' tongues by night, like softest music to attending ears.
Romeo,
My nights,
what o'clock tomorrow shall I send to thee?
by the hour of 9.
I will not fail. 'Tis 20 years till then. I have forgot why they've called me back.
Let me stand here till thou remember it.
I shall forget to have thee still stand there, remembering how I love thy company.
And I'll still stay, to have thee still forgetting anything at home but this.
It is almost morning. I would have thee gone, and yet no further than a wanton's bird that lets it pop a little from his hand like a poor prisoner in his twisted gyves, and with silken thread plucks it back again, so loving, jealous of his liberty.
Would I were thy bird.
Sweet, so would I, yet I should kill thee with much cherishing. Sweet, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow that I shall say good night till it be morrow.
Sleep dwell upon thy night, peace in thy breast. Would I were sleep in peace, so sweet to rest. Hence will I to my ghostly friar's close cell, for his help to crave, and my dear hap to tell.
The grey-eyed morn smiles upon the frowning night, checkering the eastern clouds with streaks of light, and fleckled darkness, like a drunkard, reels from forth day's path, and tightens fiery wheels. Now, ere the sun advance his burning eye, the day to cheer and night's dank dew to dry, I must upfill this osier cage of ours with baleful weeds and precious, juicy flowers. Within the infant rhyme of this weak flower, poison hath residence and medicine power. For this, being smelt with that part, cheers each part, but being tasted, stays all senses with the heart. Two such opposed kings encamp them still, in men as well as herbs, grace and rude will. And where the worser is predominant, full soon the canker death eats up that plant.
Good morrow, father!
Benedicite, what early tongue so sweet saluteth me? Ah, young son, it argues a distempered head so soon to bid good morrow to thy bed. Or if not so, then here I give it right, our Romeo hath not been in bed tonight.
That last is true, the sweeter rest was mine.
God pardon sin, wast thou with Rosaline?
What's not my ghost, father? No! I forgot that name, and that means woe.
Oh, that's my good son, but where hast thou been then?
I'll tell thee ere thou ask it me again. I've been feast with mine enemy. Where on a sudden one hath wounded me, that's by me wounded. Both are remedies within thy half and holy physic lies. I bear no hatred, blessed man, for lo, my intersection likewise steads my bow.
Be plain, good son, and homely in thy drift. Riddling confession finds, but riddling shrift.
Then plainly know my heart's dear love is set on the fair daughter of rich Capulet. As mine on her, so hers set on mine. And all combined, save what thou must combine by holy marriage. Where and when and how we met, we wooed and exchange of vow. I'll tell thee as we pass, but this I pray that thou consent to marry us today.
O holy Saint Francis, what a change is here! Is Rosaline, who thou didst love, so dear, so soon forsaken? Ah, young men's love then lies, not truly in their hearts, but in their eyes. Jesu Maria, what a deal of brine hath washed thy sallow cheeks for Rosaline! How much salt water thrown away in waste to season love that of it doth not taste! Lo, here, upon thy cheek the stain doth sit of an old tear that has not washed off yet. If ever thou wast thyself and these woes thine, thou in these woes were all for Rosaline. And art thou changed, huh? Pronounce this sentence then. Women may fall when there's no strength in men.
Thou chidest me up for loving Rosaline,
For doting, not for loving, pupil mine.
and badest me bury love.
Not in a grave to lay one in, another out to have.
Pray thee, chide not. Her I love now doth grace for grace, and love for love allow. The other did not so.
Oh, she knew well thy love did read by rote that could not spell. But come, young waverer, come with me. In one respect I'll thy assistant be, for this alliance may so happy prove to turn your household's rancor to pure love.
Oh, let us hence. I stand on sudden haste.
Wisely and slow, they stumble that run fast.
Where the devil should this Romeo be? Came he not home tonight?
Not to his father's. I spoke with his man.
Why, that same pale, hard-hearted wench that Rosaline tormented so, he will surely come back.
Tybalt, the kinsman to old Capulet, hath sent a letter to his father's home.
A challenge on my life.
Romeo will answer it.
Any man that could write may answer a letter.
Nay, he will answer the letter's master how he dares being dared.
Alas, poor Romeo, he is already dead. Stabbed with the white wench's black eye. Shot through the ear with a love song. The very pin of his heart. Cleft with the blind poor boy's butt shaft. And is he a man to encounter Tybalt?
Why, what is Tybalt?
More than the prince of cats. Oh, he's the courageous Captain Compliments. He fights you as you sing prick song. Keeps time, distance, proportion. He rests his minimum rests. And then one, two, and a third in your bosom. The very butcher of a silk button, a duelist. A duelist, a gentleman of the very first house, of the first hand, second cause. Ah, the immortal Pissarro, the punto reverso, the high.
Oh, here comes Romeo! Here comes Romeo!
Without his robe, like a dried herring. Oh, flesh, how art thou fishified? Signor Romeo, bonjour. There's a French salutation to your French slut. Give us the counterfeit fairly last night.
Good Mars, you both. What compliment did I give you?
The slip, sir, the slip. Can you not conceive?
Pardon, good Mercutio. My business was great, and in such a case as mine, a man may strain courtesy.
That's as much to say a case such as yours constrains a man to bow in the hat.
Meaning to curtsy.
Thou hast kindly hit it.
It's a most courteous exposition.
Nay, I am the very pink of courtesy.
Oh, hateful flower.
Right.
Why, then my bump is a wildflower.
Why is this not better now than groaning for love? Now art thou sociable. Now art thou Romeo. Now art thou what thou art, by art as well as nature. For this driveling love is like a great natural that runs lolling up and down, trying to hide his bubble in a hole.
Oh, stop there, stop there.
Here's the begin.
A sail!
Two was sure to have a smock.
Peter, my fan, Peter.
Good beans are to hide her face, for her fan is the fair face.
God ye good morrow, gentlemen.
God ye good eve, fair gentlewoman.
Is it good evening?
'Tis no less, I tell you. For the body hand of the dial is now upon the prick of noon.
Out upon you! What a man are you!
One gentlewoman that God hath made himself to walk.
Gentlemen, can any of you tell me where I may find the young Romeo?
Oh, I can tell you where young Romeo will be, but he'll be older when you have found him than when you have sought him. I am the youngest of that name, for fault or worse.
You say well.
Yea, is the worse well? Very well, took in faith, wisely, wisely.
If you be he, sir, I desire some confidence with you.
She will indict him to some supper.
Romeo, will you come to your father? We'll to dinner then.
We'll follow you.
Farewell, ancient lady. Farewell, lady, lady, lady.
Pray you, sir, what saucy merchant was this so fond as ropery?
A gentleman who loves to hear himself talk will speak more in a minute than you'll stand to in a month.
If he speak anything against me, I'll take him down. He were lustier than he were, 20 such jacks. And if I come out of my nose that shout, spur me, nay! I'm none of his fort gills, I'm none of his skeins mates. And thou must stand by too and suffer every day to use me at his pleasure.
I saw no man use you at his pleasure. If I had my weapon should quickly have been out, I warrant you, I dare draw as soon as another man, if I see occasion and good work.
Now,
And laud my son.
now, afore God, I am so vexed every part about me quivers. Scurvy, nay. Pray you, sir, a word. As I told you, my young lady did bid me inquire you out. What she bade me say, I'll keep to myself. But first, let me tell you, ye should lead her into a fool's paradise, as they say, and or a very gross kind of behavior, as they say. Because the gentlewoman is young, and therefore, if you should deal double with her, truly, it were an ill thing to be offered any gentlewoman, and very weak healing.
Bid her devise a means to come to ship this afternoon. There she shall at Friar Lord Cecil be shrived and married.
Oh!
Here's for thy pain.
Oh, no, truly, sir, not a penny.
Go to, I say you shall.
Oh, well, this afternoon, sir, she shall be there.
And wait, good nurse. Behind the abbey wall within this hour, my man shall be with thee and bring thee cords made like a tackled stair, which to the high-top gallants of my joy must be my convoy in the secret night. Farewell. Be trusty and I'll quit thy pains. Farewell. Commend me to thy mistress.
1,000 times. Peter, come on, anon in a pace.
The clock struck 9 when I did send the nurse. In half an hour she promised to return. Perchance she cannot be. That's not so. How she's lame. Love's herald should be thoughts, which 10 times faster glide in the sun's beams, driving back shadows over lowering hills. Therefore do nimble pinioned doves straw love, and therefore hath the wind swift Cupid's wings. Now is the sun upon the hindmost hill of this day's journey, and from 9 till 12 is 3 long hours, yet she is not come. Had she affections and warm youthful blood, she would be as swift in motion as a ball. My words would bandy her to my sweet love, and his to me. But old folks, many fain as they were dead, unwieldy, slow, heavy, and pale as lead.
Uh-huh.
Oh God, she comes. Oh, honey nurse, what news? Hast thou met with him? Send thy man away.
Peter, stay at the gate.
Now, good, sweet nurse. Lord, why look'st thou sad? Though nurse be sad, yet tell the mariner. If good thou shapest the music of sweet news by playing it in so sour a face.
I am a-weary. Give me leave a while. Fie, how my bones ache. What a jaunt have I.
I would thou hadst my bones and I thy news. Nay, come, I pray thee, speak. Good, good nurse, speak.
Jesu, what haste. Can you not stay a while? Do you not see that I am out of breath?
How art thou out of breath, when thou hast breath to say to me that thou art out of breath? The excuse that thou dost make in this delay is longer the tale thou dost excuse. Is thy news good or bad? Answer to that. Say either and stay the circumstance. Let me be satisfied. Is it good or bad?
Well, you have made a simple choice. You know not how to choose a man. Romeo, no not he. Though his face be better than any man's, and his leg excels all men, and for a hand and a foot and a body, though they are not to be talked on, yet they are past compare. He's not the flower of courtesy, yet I'll warrant him as gentle as a lamb. Go thy ways, Ray, serve God. What, have you dined at home?
No, but all this did I know before. What does he of our marriage? What of that?
Oh, Lord, how my head aches. What a head have I. It beats as it would fall in 20 pieces. Ere my back. Oh, the other side, my back. Oh, beshrew your heart for sending me about. Catch my death with jumping up and down.
In faith, I implore that thou art not well. Sweet nurse, tell me what says my love.
Your love says, like an honest gentleman, and a courteous, and a kind, and I warrant a virtuous. Where's your mother? Where dinner. Hie you to the cell.
High to high fortune, honest nurse, farewell.
Oh,
So smile the heavens on this holy act, and after hours with sorrow chide us not.
Amen, amen. Do thou but close our hands with holy words, then love devouring death, do what he dare. Is it enough that I may but call her mine?
These violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die, like fire and powder, which, as they kiss, consume. The sweetest honey is loathsome in its own deliciousness, and in the taste ruins the appetite. Therefore, love moderately. Long love doth so. Too swift arrives as tardy as too slow. Ah, here comes the lady. Oh, so light a foot will ne'er wear out that everlasting flint. A lover may bestride the gossamers that idles in the wanton summer air, and yet not fall, so light is vanity.
Good evening to my ghostly confessor.
Romeo shall thank thee, daughter, for us both.
As much to him else is his thanks too much.
Come with me, and we will make short work, for by your leaves you shall not stay alone till Holy Church make two in one.
The Capulets abroad, and if we meet, we shan't escape abroad. For now these hot days is the mad blood stirring.
Thou art like one of these fellows that when he enters the confines of a tavern, claps me his sword upon the table and says, God, send me no need of thee. And by the operation of the second cup, draws on the drawer when indeed there is no need.
Am I like such a fellow?
Come, thou art as hot a jack in thy mood as any man in Italy. And as soon moved to be moody, and as soon moody to be moved.
And if I were so apt to quarrel as thou art, any man should buy the fee simple of my life for an hour and a quarter.
The fee simple? Oh, simple.
By my head, here come the Capulets.
By my heel, I care not. While we close by, I shall speak to them. Gentlemen, good deed, a word with them. And but one word with one of us. Couple it with something. Make it a word and a blow. You found me apt enough to that, sir, and you give me an occasion. Could you not take some occasion without giving? Could you without consort with Romeo? Consort? What, dost thou make us minstrels? And thou make minstrels of us look to hear nothing but discords. Here's my fiddle stick. Here's that shall make you dance. Zounds, consort!
We talk here in the public haunt of men. Either withdraw into some private place and reason coldly of your grievances, or else depart. Here all eyes gaze on us.
Men's eyes were made to look, and let them gaze. I will not budge for no man's pleasure. Peace be with you, sir.
Here comes mine.
But I'll be hanged, sir, if you wear your livery. Mary, go before to field. He'll be your follower, your worship. In that sense, may you call him mad.
Romeo, the love I bear thee can afford no better term than this. Thou art a villain!
Tybalt, the reason I have to love thee doth much excuse be appertaining rate to such a greeting. Villain, I am none. Therefore farewell. I see thou knowest me not.
Boy!
They shall not excuse the injuries thou hast done me.
Therefore turn and draw!
I protest I never injured thee, but love thee better than thou canst devise, until thou shalt know the reason of my love, and so, good Capulet, whose name I tender as dearly as my own, be satisfied.
Oh, calm, dishonorable, vile submission! Our staccato carries it away. Tybalt! You rat catcher! You are. What wouldst thou have with me? Good, ye hast nothing but one of your 9 lives, and I mean to make bold with all. And as you shall use me hereafter, dry beats the rest of the 8. You pluck your sword out of his pilcher by the ears. Make haste, lest mine be cut the ears and Come, sir, your facade will
enough. Where's my page?
Go, Phil, and fetch a surgeon! Courage, man, the hurt cannot be much.
No, it is not so deep as a well, nor so wide as a church door, but it is enough to serve. Ask for me tomorrow, and you shall find me a grave man. I pepper, I warn for this world. A plague of both your houses! Zoons, a dog, a rat, a mouse, a cat, to scratch a man to death. A braggart, a rogue who fights by the book of arithmetic. Why the devil came you between us? I was hurt under your arm.
I thought all for the best.
Help me into some house bimbo there, I shall faint. A plague on both your houses! They've made worms meat of me. I have it, and soundly too. Your houses!
This gentleman, the prince's near ally, my buried friend, hath got his mortal hurt in my behalf. My reputation stained with Tybalt's slander. Tybalt an hour have been my kinsman. Oh, Juliet, thy beauty hath made me effeminate, and in my temper soft and foul of steel.
Romeo, brave Mercutio is dead. Thy gallant spirit hath aspired to the clouds, which too untimely here did scorn the earth.
This day's black fate on more days doth depend. This but begins the woes others must end.
Here comes that furious Tybalt once again.
A life flanks, a Mercutio slain, away in heaven, respected Lenny, and fiery fury be thy conduct now! Now, Tybalt! Take the villain back again that late thou gavest me, for Mercutio still has a little above our heads. Stay for thine to keep in company. Either thou, or I, or both must go with him! Ah!
Thou wretched boy! This can source of the beer! Thou with them head!
These have sort of that!
Romeo slew him. He slew Mercutio.
his fault concludes but what the law should end the life of Tybalt.
And for that offense, immediately we do exile him hence. I have interest in your heart's proceeding. My blood for your rude brawls doth lie a-bleeding. But I'll immerse you with so strong a fine that you shall all repent the loss of mine.
My lord,
I will be deaf to pleading and excuses. Nor tears nor prayers shall purchase out abuses. Therefore use none. Let Romeo hence in haste, else he's found that hour is his last. Bear hence his body and attend our will. Mercy, but murders, pardoning those that kill.
Gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, toward Phoebus' lodging. Such a wagoner as Phaeton would whip you to the west and bring in cloudy night immediately. Spread thy close, curtained love-performing night, that runaways' eyes may wink, and Romeo leap to these arms, untalked of and unseen. Lovers can see to do their amorous rites by their own beauties, or, if love be blind, it best embrace with night. Come, civil knight, thou sober-suited matron all in black, and learn me how to lose a winning match played for a pair of stainless maidenhoods. Hood mine unmanned blood bating in my cheeks with thy black mantle, till strange love grow bold. Think true love acted simple modesty. Come, knight, come, Romeo, come thou day and night, for thou wilt lie upon the wings of night whiter than new snow upon a raven's back. Come, gentle knight, come, loving black-browed knight, give me my Romeo! And when I shall die, take him and cut him out in little stars, and he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night, and pay no worship to the garish sun. Oh, I have bought the mansion of a love, and not yet possessed it, and though I'm sold, not yet enjoyed. Oh, so tedious is this day, as is the night before some festival, to an impatient child that hath no robes, and may not wear them. Oh, here comes my nurse, and she brings news, and every tongue that speaks with Romeo's name speaks heavenly eloquence. Now, nurse, what news? What hast thou there? The cords have broken, bid me fetch.
Aye, the cords.
I mean, what news? What dost thou wring my hands?
Oh, well a day. He's dead, he's dead, he's dead. We are undone, lady, we are undone. Alack the day, he's gone, he's killed, he's dead.
Can heaven be so envious?
Romeo can, though heaven cannot. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, who would have ever thought of Romeo?
Oh, what devil art thou that dost torment me thus? Ha! This torture should be roared in dismal hell. Hath Romeo slain me so?
Oh, I saw the wound. I saw it with mine eyes. God save the mark. I swooned at the sight.
Oh, break my heart. Poor bankrupt, break it once.
Oh, Tybalt, Tybalt, the best friend I had. Oh, courteous gentleman, that ever I should live to see thee dead.
Storms is it most so contrary. Is Romeo slaughtered and is Tybalt dead? My dearest cousin and my dear lord.
The dreadful trumpet sound the general doom, for who is living if those two are gone? Romeo is gone, and Romeo is banished. Romeo that killed them, he is banished. griefs, these woes, these sorrows make me old. Shame come to Romeo.
Blistered be thy tongue for such a wish. He was not born to shame, for upon his brow shame is ashamed to sit. For 'tis a throne where honor may be crowned, sole monarch of the universal earth. Oh, the beast was I to chide at him.
Will you speak well of him that killed your cousin?
Shall I speak ill of him that is my husband? Oh, poor my lord, what tongue shall smooth thy name when I, thy 3 hours life, have mangled it? But wherefore, villain, didst thou kill my cousin? The villain cousin would have killed my husband. Back, foolish tears, back to your native spring. Your tributary drops belong to all, which you mistaking offer up to joy. My husband lives that Tybalt would have slain, and Tybalt's dead that would have slain my husband. All this is comfort. Wherefore weep, I then? Some word there was worser than Tybalt's death that murdered me. I would forget it fain, but oh, it presses to my memory like damned guilty deeds to sinners' minds. Tybalt is dead, and Romeo
Banished.
banished. That one word banished had slain 10,000 Tybalts. Tybalt's death was woe enough if it had ended there, or if Sourwell delights in fellowship and needly will be wrecked with other griefs. Why followed not when she said, Tybalt's dead, thy father, or thy mother, nay, or both, which modern lamentations might have moved. But with the rearward following Tybalt's death, Romeo is banished. To speak that word, his father, mother, Tybalt, Romeo, Juliet, all slain, all dead. Romeo is banished. There is no end, no limit, measure, bound in that word's death. No words can that woe sound. No, no, no. Where is my father and mother?
Weeping and wailing over Tybalt's corpse. Will you go to them? I'll bring you thither.
Wash they his wounds with tears. Mine shall be spent when theirs are dry, for Romeo's banishment. Come, court. Come, nurse. I'll to my wedding bed. And death, not Romeo, take my maidenhead.
Hie you to your chamber. I'll find Romeo to comfort you. I wot well where he is. Hark you, your Romeo will be here at night. All to him. He's hid at Lawrence cell.
Oh, find him. Give this ring to my true knight, and bid him come to take his last farewell.
Romeo! Romeo! Come forth! Come forth, thou fearful man! Affliction is enamored of thy parts, and thou art wedded to calamity.
Father, what news? What is the prince's doom? What sorrow grave acquaintance at my hand that I get know not?
Too familiar is my dear son with such sour company. I bring thee tidings of the prince's doom.
What less than doomsday is the prince's doom?
A gentler judgment vanished from his lips. Not body's death, but body's banishment.
Banishment? Be merciful, say death. For exile hath or tyrannous look much more than death. Do not say banishment.
Hence from Verona art thou banished. Be patient, for the world is broad and wide.
There is no world without Verona walls but purgatory, torture, hell itself. Hence banishment is banished from the world, and world's exile is death. Calling death banishment, thou cuts my head off with the golden axe and smiles on the throat that murders me.
Oh, deadly sin! Oh, rude unthankfulness! Thy fault, our law calls death, but the kind prince taking thy part hath rushed aside the law and turned that black word death to banishment. This is dear mercy, and thou seest it not.
'Tis torture and not mercy. Heaven is here where Juliet lives. Every cat and dog and little mouse, every unworthy thing that live here in heaven may look on her. But Romeo may not. More validity, more honorable state, more courtship lives in carrying flies than Romeo. You may seize the white wonder of dear Juliet's hand and steal immortal blessings from her lips, who even in pure and vestal modesty still blush, thinking their own kisses sin. But Romeo may not. He is banished. Flies may do this, but I from this must fly. They are free men, but I am banished. And say thou yet the exile is not dead. Hast thou no poison mixed, no sharp round knife, no son of me to death? Thou ne'er so mean, but banished to kill me. Banished! Oh, friar, the damned is that word in hell. Howling attends it. And how hast thou the heart, being a divine, a ghostly confessor, a sin absolver, my friend professed to mingle me with the word banished?
How fond, madman! Hear me a little speak.
Oh, wilt thou speak again of banishment?
I'll give thee armor to keep off that word, adversity's sweet milk, philosophy, to comfort thee though thou art banished.
Yet banished! Hang up philosophy, unless philosophy can make a Juliet, displant a town, reverse a prince's doom. It helps not, it prevails not, talk no more.
Oh, then I see that madmen have no ears.
How should they when the wise men have no eyes?
Let me dispute with thee of thy estate.
Thou canst not speak of thou that dost not feel. Wert thou as young as I, Juliet thy love, an hour but merry, Tybalt murdering, doting like me and like me banishing. Then mightst thou speak, then mightst thou tear thy hair and fall upon the ground as I do now, taking the measure of an unmade grave.
Romeo, arise! Thou wilt be taken. Stand up! Run to my study. Will, what sinfulness is this? I come! Who knocks so hard? Whence come you? What's your will?
Let me come in and you shall know my errand. I come from Lady Julia.
Welcome then.
Oh, holy friar, oh, tell me, holy friar, where's my lady's lord? Where's Romeo?
There, on the ground, with his own tears made drunk.
Oh, even in my mistress's case. Stand up, stand up, stand and you'll be a man. For Juliet's sake, for her sake, rise and stand. Why should you fall into so deep an O?
Speakest thou of Juliet? How is it with her? Does she not think me an old murderer? I have stained the childhood of our joy with blood removed but little from her own. Where is she, and how doth she? And what says my concealed lady to her cancelled love?
Oh, she says nothing, sir, but weeps and weeps, and now falls on her bed, and then starts up and on Tybalt calls, and then on Romeo cries, and then down falls again.
Is it that name, or is that name shot from the dead of the gun did murder her, and that name's cursed hand did murder her kinsman? Oh, tell me, friar, tell me, what part of this vile anatomy doth my name lodge? Tell me so I may sack the hateful mansion!
Thy desperate hand! Art thou a man? Thy form cries out thou art. Thy tears are womanish. Thy unreasonable acts denote the fury of a beast. An unseemly woman in a seeming man, and ill-beseeming beast in seeming both. Thou hast amazed me. By my holy order, I thought thy disposition better tempered. Hast thou slain Tybalt? Wilt thou slay thyself, and slay thy lady that in thy life lives, by doing damned hate upon thyself? What? Rouse thee, man. And Juliet is alive, for whose dear sake thou once wast but lately dead. There art thou happy. Tybalt would kill thee, but thou slewest Tybalt. There art thou happy. The law that threatened death becomes thy friend and turns it to exile. There art thou happy. A pack of blessings light upon thy back. Happiness courts thee in her best array. But like a misbehaved and sullen wench, thou pounced upon thy fortune and thy love. Take heed, for such die miserable. Go, give thee to thy lady, as was decreed. Ascend her chamber hence and comfort her. But look that thou stay not till the watch be set, or then thou canst not pass to Mantua, where thou shalt live, until we can find a time to reconcile thy friends, blaze thy marriage, and call thee forth with 20,000 times more joy than thou wentst forth in lamentation. Go forward, nurse. Romeo is coming.
Oh, my lord, I will tell my lady you will come.
Do so, and bid my sweet prepare to chide.
Here, sir, a ring she bade me give you, sir. How you make haste, for it grows very late.
How well my comfort is revived by this.
Give me thy hand. 'Tis late. Farewell. Good night.
It were a grief, joy past joy counts on me. It were a grief so great to part with thee. Farewell.
Things have fallen out so unluckily, sir, that we've had no time to move our daughter. Look you, she loved her kinsman Tybalt dearly.
These times of woe afford no time to woo. Madam, good night. Commend me to your daughter.
I will, and to know her mind early tomorrow.
Tonight she is mewed up to her heaviness.
Sir Paris, I will make a desperate tender of my child's love. I think she will be ruled in all respects by me. Nay, more, I doubt it not. Wife, go you to her ere you go to bed. Acquaint her here of my son Paris's love, and bid her mark you me on Wednesday next. But soft, what day is this?
Monday.
Monday. Well, Wednesday is too soon then. A Thursday. A Thursday tell her she shall marry this noble earl.
My lord, I would that Thursday were tomorrow.
That is gone. It is not yet the year day. It was the nightingale and not the lark. And the fearful poem of thine ear. Nike, she sings like young pomegranate tree. Believe me, love, it was a nightingale.
It's the lark, the herald of the morn, no nightingale. Look, look, what envious streaks took place in the severing clouds of yonder east. Night's candles are burnt out, and jocund day stands tiptoe on the misty mountain tops. I must be gone and live, or stay and die.
Yon light is not daylight. I know it's I. It is some meteor that the sun exhales speedily this night, a torch-bearer, and light be on my way to Mantua. Therefore stay yet, thou needst not to be gone.
Oh, let me tame, let me be put to death. I am content, so thou wilt have it so. I'll say that yon ray is not the morning's eye, but 'tis the pale reef like to Cynthia's brow. Nor it is not the lark whose notes do beat the vaulty heaven so high above our heads. I have more care to stay than will to go. Come, death, and welcome. Juliet wills it so. Oh, how is my soul? Let us talk, it is not day.
It is. High hence, be gone, away. It is the lark that sings so out of tune, straining harsh discords and unpleasing sharps. Some say the lark makes sweet division. This doth not so, for she divided us. Some say the lark in loathed tone change eyes, and I would they change voices too. Since arm from arm that voice doth us affray, hunting the hens with hands up to the day. Oh, now be gone. More light and light it grows.
More light and light, more dark and dark our bones.
Madam,
Nurse!
your lady mother is coming to your chamber. The day is broke. Be wary, look about.
The window, let day in and let life out.
Farewell, farewell. One kiss and I'll descend.
Art thou gone so, love, lord, I, husband, friend? I must hear from thee every day in the hour, for in a minute there are many days.
Farewell,
Like this come there shall be much in years ere I again behold my Romeo.
farewell. I will omit no opportunity that may convey my greetings, love, to thee.
Or thinkst thou we shall ever meet again?
I doubt it not. But all these woes shall serve for sweet discourses in our time to come.
Oh God, I have an ill-defining soul. Methinks I see thee now, thou art so low, as one dead in the bottom of a tomb. Either my eyesight fails, or thou lookst pale.
Trust me, love, in my eyes, so do you. Dry sorrow drinks our blood. Adieu. Adieu.
Oh, fortune! Fortune! All men call thee fickle. If thou art fickle, what dost thou with him that is renowned for faith? Be fickle, fortune, for then I hope thou wilt not keep him long, but send him back. Oh! Oh, daughter! Daughter, are you come? What's it that calls? It is my lady mother. Is she not down so late or up so early? What unaccustomed cause procures her hither?
Why, how now, Juliet?
Madam, I am not well.
Evermore weeping for your cousin's death? What, would you wash him from his grave with tears? And if thou couldst not let him live. Therefore have done. Some of grief shows much of love, but too much of grief shows still some want of wit.
Yet let me weep for such a feeling loss.
So shall you feel the loss, but not the friend which you weep for.
Feelings of the loss cannot choose but ever weep the friend.
Thou weeps not so much for his death as that the villain lives which slaughtered him.
What villain, madam?
That
same villain Romeo.
Villain and he be many miles asunder. God pardon him. I do, with all my heart, and yet no man like he doth grieve my heart.
That is because the traitor murderer lives.
I am out from the reach of these my hands. Would none but I might venge my cousin's death.
We will have vengeance for it, fear thou not. Then weep no more. I shall send to one in Mantua, where that same banished runagate doth live, shall give him such an unaccustomed dram that he shall soon keep Tybalt company. And then, I hope, thou wilt be satisfied.
Indeed, I never shall be satisfied with Romeo till I behold him. Dead is my poor heart for a kinsman vexed.
And now I bring thee joyful tidings, girl.
And joy comes well in such a needy time. But I may beseech your ladyship.
Well, well, thou hast a careful father, child, one who, to put thee from thy heaviness, hath sorted out a sudden day of joy thou expectst not, nor I look not for.
Magic and happy time, what day is that?
Marry, my child, early Thursday next, the gallant, young, and noble gentleman, the county Paris, shall at St. Peter's Church happily make thee there a joyful bride.
No, by St. Peter's Church and Peter too! He shall not make me there a joyful bride. I wonder at this haste that I must wed ere he that should be husband comes to woo. I pray you, tell my lord in proper nothing, I will not marry yet, and when I do, I swear it shall be Romeo, whom you know I hate, rather than Paris. These are news indeed.
Here comes your father. Tell him so yourself and see how he takes it at your hands.
When the sun sets, the air doth drizzle dew, but for the sunset of my brother's son, it rains down right. What? How now, a conduit girl, still in tears, evermore showering? How now, wife, have you delivered to her our decree?
Aye, but she'll have none, she gives you thanks. I would the fool were married to her grave.
Soft, take me with you, wife. How will she know? Is she not proud? Does she not give us thanks? Does she not count her blessed, as unworthy as she is that we brought so worthy a gentleman to be her bride?
Not proud you have, but thankful that you have. Proud can I never be of what I hate, but thankful even for hate that is met love.
How? 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 Talk logic! What is this? Proud, and I thank you, and I thank you not, and yet not proud. Mistress meaning you, thank me no thankings, no proud me no proud, but spending your fine joints against Thursday next to go with Paris, to St. Peter's Church, or I will drag thee on a hurdle thither. Out, you great sickness carrier! Out, you baggage! You tallow face!
My God, what are you, mad?
Good father, I beseech you on my knees, hear me with patience but to speak a word.
Hang thee, young baggage! Disobedient wretch! I tell thee what, get thee to church on Thursday, when never thereafter look me in the face. Speak not!
Please.
Reply not! Do not answer me! My fingers itch! Why, we scarce thought us blessed that God has left us on this one child, but now it's that one is one too much, and we've a curse in having her out on her hilltop.
God in heaven bless her! You are to blame, my lord, to rape her so.
And why, my lady wisdom? Go snuggle with your gossips. Good prudence hold your tongue. Go!
Speak of treason! May not one speak!
Peace! You mumbling fool! Go out of your gravity or gossips, for here we need it not.
You are too hot.
God's bread, it makes me mad. Day, night, hour, time, play, work alone, it shall be still. My care has been to have her nourished. And now, having provided a gentleman of noble parentage, of fair domain, youthful and nobly light, stuffed, as they say with honorable part, proportioned as one's thoughts would wish a man. Thursday is near. Lay hand on heart, advise. And you be mine, I will keep you, my friend. And you not? Hey, beg, starve, die in the streets, whereby my soul I'll never acknowledge thee, and what is mine will never do thee good. Trust to it, but thank you. I'll not be forsworn.
Is there no pity sitting in the clouds that sees to the bottom of my grief? Oh, sweet my mother, cast me not away. Delay this marriage for a month, a week, or if you do not make the bridal bed in that dim monument where Tybalt lies.
Talk not to me, for I'll speak not a word. Do what thou wilt, for I have done with thee.
Oh, God! Oh, no! How shall it be prevented? My husband is on earth, my faith in heaven. How shall it faith return again to earth unless that husband send it to me from heaven by leaving earth? Oh, comfort me.
I think it best you married with the county. Oh, he's a lovely gentleman. Romeo's a dish clout to him. I think you're happy in this second match, for it excels your first.
Speaks thou from thy heart.
And from my soul too, else beshrew them both.
Amen.
What?
Well, thou hast comforted me marvelous much. Go in and tell my lady mother I am gone. To displease my father to Lawrence cell to seek confession and be absolved.
Mary, I will. And this is wisely done. Go, counselor. Thou in my bosom henceforth shall be twain.
I'll to the friar to know his remedy. If all else fail, myself have power to die.
On Thursday, sir. The time is very short.
My father Capulet will have it so, and I do nothing slow, just like his haste.
You say you do not know the lady's mind. Uneven is the course. I like it not.
Immoderately she weeps for Tybalt's death, and therefore have I little talked of love, for Venus smiles not in the house of tears. Now, sir, my father counts it dangerous, for she do give her sorrow so much sway, and in his wisdom hastes our marriage to stop the inundation of her tears, which, too much minded by herself alone, may be put from her by society. Now do you know the reason of this haste?
I would I knew not why it should be slowed. Oh, look, sir, here comes the lady towards my cell.
Happily met, my lady, and my wife.
That may be, sir, when I may be a wife.
What may be must be, love, on Thursday next.
What must be shall be.
That's a certain text.
Are you at leisure, Holy Father, now, or shall I come to you at evening mass?
Ah, my leisure serves me now. Benson, daughter. My lord, we must entreat the time alone.
God shield, I should disturb devotion. Juliet, on Thursday early, I will rouse you. Until then, adieu, and keep this holy kiss.
Oh, shut the door! And when thou hast done so, come weep with me. Best to hope, best to cure, best to help.
Oh, Juliet, I already know thy grief. I hear thou must, and nothing may prorogue it, on Thursday next be married to this county.
Tell me not, friar, thou hearest of this, unless thou may tell me how I may prevent it. If in thy wisdom thou canst give no help, do thou recall my resolution wise, and with this night I'll help it presently.
God joined my heart and Romeo's. Thou our hands.
And ere this hand by thee to Romeo sealed shall be the label to another deed, or my true heart with treacherous revolt turn to another, this shall slay them both.
Hold, daughter! I do spy a kind of hope which craves as desperate an execution as that is desperate which we would prevent. If, rather than to marry County Paris, thou hast the strength of will to slay thyself, then is it likely thou wilt undertake a thing like death, to chide away this shame that copes with death himself, to escape from it. And if thou darest, I'll give thee remedy. Take thou this wine, being then in bed, and this distilled liquor drink thou off, when presently through all thy veins shall run a cold and drowsy humor, for no pulse shall keep its native progress, but surcease. No warmth, no breath shall testify thou livest, each part being deprived of supple government, shall stiff and stark and cold appear like death. And in this borrowed lightness of death thou shalt continue 42 hours, and then awake as from a pleasant sleep. Now, when the bridegroom in the morning comes to rouse thee from thy bed, there art thou dead. Then, as the manner of our country is, in thy best robes, uncovered on the bier, thou shalt be borne to that same ancient vault where all the kindred of the Capulets lie. In the meantime, against thou shalt awake, shall Romeo by my letters know our drift, and hither shall he come, and he and I will watch thy waking, and that very night shall Romeo bear thee hence to Mantua, and this shall free thee from his present shame, if no inconstant toy nor womanish fear abate thy valor in the acting it.
Give me, oh, tell me not of fear.
Hold, get you gone. Be strong and prosperous in this resolve. I'll send a friar with speed to Mantua with letters to thy lord.
Love, give me strength, then strength shall help afford.
Farewell, dear father.
What, is my daughter gone to Friar Lawrence?
I forsooth.
Well, he may chance to do some good on her.
See, where she comes from trip with Mary Look.
Why, how now, my kid strong? Where have you been gathered?
Where I learned me to repent the sin of disobedient opposition to you and your behest, and am enjoined by holy lords to fall prostrate here to beg your pardon. Pardon, I beseech you, henceforward I am ever ruled by you.
Now, before God, this reverend holy friar, our whole city is much bound to him.
But nurse, will you go with me into my closet to help me sort such needful ornaments as you think fit to furnish me tomorrow?
No, not till Thursday. There's time enough.
Go, nurse, go with her. We'll to church tomorrow.
We shall be short enough provisions down your night.
Tush, go thou to Juliet. I'll not to bed tonight, let me alone. I'll play the housewife, this once.
Aye, those attires are best. Gentle nurse, I pray thee, leave me to myself tonight, for I have need of many orisons to move the heavens to smile upon my state, which well thou knowest is cross and full of sin.
What? Are you busy home? Need you a help?
No, madam. We have called such necessaries as are behooveful for our state tomorrow. So please you, let me now be left alone, and let the nurse this night sit up with you, for I am sure you have your hands full all in this so sudden business.
Good night. Get thee to bed and rest, for thou hast need.
Farewell! God knows when we shall meet again. I have a faint, cold fear thrills through my veins. It almost freezes up the heat of life. I'll call them back again and comfort me. Nurse! What should she do here? My dismal scene I needs must act alone. Come, Violet. What if this mixture do not work at all? Shall I be buried then tomorrow morning? No, no. This shall forbid it. Lie thou there. What if it be a poison, which the friar suddenly hath ministered to have me dead, lest in his marriage he should be dishonored because he married me before to Romeo? I fear it is, and yet methinks it should not, for he hath still been trying a holy man. How if, when I am laid into the tomb, I wake before the time that Romeo come to redeem me? There's a fearful point. Shall I not then be stifled in the vault to whose foul mouth no healthsome air breathes in, and there die strangled ere my Romeo comes? Or, if I live, is it not
stir, stir, stir. The cock hath crowed, the curfew bell hath rung. 'Tis 3 o'clock.
Go, you cockwind, go. Get you to bed, Faith. You'll be sick tomorrow for this night's watching.
Go and help trim Juliet up. I'll chat with Paris.
Mistress, last I winter, by you Spudhead, by ma'am, by lady, I say love, why mistress, why sweetheart, why bride. How sound is she asleep? Lady? Lady? Lady! Alas, alas, help, help, my lady's dead! Oh, woe the day that ever I was born! Some aquapine hope! My lord, my lady! My lord, my lady! What noise is here? Oh, lamentable day!
What is the matter?
Look! Look, oh, heavy day!
Oh, me. Oh, my child. My only life. Revive.
Look up or I will die with thee! Help! Help! Oh, help! 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 Help!
For shame! Bring Juliet forth, my lord is come.
She's dead! Deceased, she's dead! Alack the day!
Let me see her. Out! Alas! Oh, she's gone. Death lays on her like an untimely frost upon the sweetest flower of all the field.
Come, is the bride ready to go to church?
Ready to go, but never to return. O son, the night before thy wedding, death hath lain with thy wife. There she lies, flower as she was deflowered by him. Death is my son-in-law. Death is my heir.
Have I thought long to see this morning's faith? And doth it give me such a sight as this?
Accursed, unhappy,
Woeful day, wretched, hateful day, most miserable hour that e'er time saw in lasting labor of his pilgrimage. But one, for one poor and loving son, for one day to rejoice in souls and that kept him from my sight.
Beguiled, divorced, wronged, spited, and slain! Most detestable death by thee beguiled, by cruel cruelty quite overthrown. Oh love, oh life, not life, but love in death.
Peace. Weep ye now, seeing she is advanced, above the clouds, as high as heaven itself? Dry up your tears and stick your rosemary on this fair course, and as the custom is, and in her best array, bear her to church. For though some nature bids us all lament, nature's tears are reason's merriment. Sir, go you in, and madam, go with him, and go, Sir Paris, everyone, prepare to follow this fair course under her grave. The heavens do lour upon you for some ill. Move them no more by crossing their high will.
If I may trust the flattering truth asleep, my dreams presage some joyful news at hand. My bosom's lord sits lightly in his throne, and unaccustomed spirit lifts me above the ground with cheerful thoughts. I dreamt my lady came and found me dead. Strange dream that does give a dead man leave to think, and breathe such life with kisses in my lips that I revived and was an emperor. Ah me, how sweet is love itself possessed, when but love's shadows are so rich in joy. News for Verona! How now, Balthazar? Dost thou not bring me letters from the friar? Dost thou not... fuck, sorry. No letter from the friar? Dost thou not... My fares by Juliet? What fares by Juliet? So nothing can be ill if she be well.
She is well, and nothing can be ill. Her body sleeps in Capel's monument. Her immortal part with angels lives. I saw her laid low in her kindred's vault.
Is it even so? Then I defy you, stars! Thou knowest my lodging! Get me ink and paper and hire post horses. I will hence tonight.
I do beseech you, sir, have patience. You look so pale and wild, and do import some misadventure.
Tush, thou art deceived! Leave me and do the thing I bid thee do. Hast thou the letter to me from the friar?
No, my good lord.
No matter. Get thee gone, and hire those horses. I will be with thee straight. Well, Juliet, I will lie with thee tonight. Let's see for me in mischief. Thou art swift to enter the thoughts of desperate men. as I do remember an apothecary, and hereabouts he dwells. To myself I said, and if a man did need a poison now, whose sale is present death in Mantua, here lives the caitiff wretch would sell it him. This same thought did forerun my need, and this same needy man must sell it me. As I remember, this should be the house. Being holiday, the beggar shop is shut. What ho, apothecary, what ho!
Who calls so loud?
Come hither, man. I see that thou art poor. Hold. There's 40 ducats. Let me have a dram of poison, such soon-speeding gear that will disperse itself through all the veins, that the life irritator may fall dead, and that the trunk of breath will be discharged as violently as hazy-powered fire doth hurry from the fatal cannon's womb.
Such mortal drugs I have, but natural law is death to one who utters them.
The world is not thy friend, nor the world's law. The world affords no law to make thee rich, then be not poor, but break it and take this.
My poverty, but not my will consent.
I pay thy poverty and not thy will.
Put this in any liquid thing you will and drink it off. If you have the strength of 20 men, we will dispatch you straight.
Farewell. Buy food and get thyself in flesh. Come court you, and not poison. Go with me to Juliet's grave, for there must I use thee.
Holy Franciscan Friar, brother, ho! Ah, this same must be the voice of Friar John, welcome from Mantua. What says Romeo? Or if his mind be writ, give me his letter.
Going to find a barefoot brother out, one of our order to associate me, here in the city, visiting the sick and finding him, the searchers of the town suspecting that we both were in a house where the infectious pestilence did reign, sealed up the doors and would not let us forth, so that my speed in Mantua there was stayed.
Who bear my letter then to Romeo?
I could not send it. Here it is again, nor get a messenger to bring it thee, so fearful will they of infection.
Unhappy fortune! Oh, by my holy order, this letter was not nice, but full of charge, of dear import, and the neglecting it made too much danger. Friar John, go to my cell, give to me an iron comb and bring it straight to me.
Brother, I'll go and bring it thee.
Within this 3 hours will fail Juliet awake. I must to the monument alone. Oh, poor living corse, closed in a dead man's tomb.
Give me thy torch of gold. Hence, and sandalwood, yet put it out, for I will not be seen. Under yon yew trees hold yourself all along, holding thy ear close to the hollow ground, so shall no foot upon the churchyard tread. But thou shalt hear it, whistle unto me, as to signal thou hearest something approach. Give me those flowers. Do as I bid thee, go.
I'm almost afraid to stand alone here in the churchyard. Yet I will adventure.
Sweet flower. With flowers, thy bridal bed I strew. With sweet water nightly I will do. Or, wanting that, with tears distilled by moans, the obsequies that I for thee will keep nightly will be to strew thy grave and weep. The boy gives warning something doth approach. What cursed foot wanders this way tonight, to cross my obsequies and true love's right? What with a torch, muffle me night a while.
Hold, take this letter. Early in morning see thou delivered to my lord and father. Give me the light.
This is that banished haughty Montague, who murdered my love's cousin, with which grief it is supposed the fair creature died. And now he is come to do some villainous shame to the dead boss. Stop that hallowed toil, vile Montague. Can vengeance be pursued further than death? Condemn them. I do apprehend thee. Obey, and go with me, for thou must die! Ha!
I must indeed, and therefore came I hither. Good, gentle youth, tempt not a desperate man! By heaven, I love thee better than myself. I came armed against myself. Stay not, be gone, live, and hereafter say a Magi's mercy, bid thee run away.
I do defy thy combination, and apprehend thee for a felon here! Ha! Ha!
Wilt thou provoke me? Then have at thee, boy.
Oh Lord, they fight! I will evolve.
Oh, woe! I am slain. But thou be merciful. Open the tomb. Lay me with Juliet.
In faith I will. Let me bruise this face. Noble. Mercutio's kinsman, noble County Paris. What said my man when my betossed soul did not attend him as we rode? I think he told me Paris should have married Juliet. Oh, my love, my wife, death that has sucked the honey of thy breath hath had no power yet upon thy beauty. Thou art not conquered. Beauty's ensign yet is crimson in thy lips and in thy cheeks, and death's pale flag is not advanced there. Oh, dear Juliet, why art thou yet so fair? Shall I believe that unsubstantial death is amorous, and that the lean, abhorred monster keeps me here in dark to be his paramour? For fear of that, I still will stay with thee, and never again depart again from this dim palace of dim night. Here will I remain, with worms that are thy chambermaids. Here I will set up my everlasting rest, and shake the yoke of inauspicious stars from this world-weary flesh. Eyes, look your left. Arms, take your last embrace. And lips, oh, you the doors of breath sealed with a righteous kiss, a dateless bargain to engrossing death. Come, bitter conduct. Come, unsavory guide. Thou desperate pilot, now at once run on the dashing rocks thy seasick weary bark. Here's to my love. Oh, true apothecary, thy drugs are quick. Thus, with a kiss, I die.
Saint Francis be my speed. How often I have my own feet stumbled in graves. Fear comes upon me. How much do I fear some ill, unthrifty thing? Romeo! Oh. Pale. What? Who else? Paris too? And steeped in blood. Ah! What an unkind hour is guilty of this lamentable chance. The lady stirs.
Oh, come to the fire. Where is my lord? I do remember well where I should be, and there I am. Where is my Romeo?
Lady, I hear some noise. Come away from that nest of death, contagion, and unnatural sleep. Son, a power greater than we can contradict thwarted our intents. Come away. Thy love of thy bosom there lies dead. Come, we must away. The watch is coming. Come, go, good Juliet. I dare no longer stay.
Go, get the eggs, for I will not away.
What's new? A cup close in my true love's hand.
Poison I see hath been his timeless end. Oh, Charles, drones all and left no friendly drop to help me after. I will kiss thy lips.
Haply some poison hath a hang
the place. There, where the torch doth burn.
Search about the churchyard. Go, some of you. Romeo, flank, attach.
Here's Romeo's man. You found him in the churchyard.
Hold him in safety till the prince come hither.
Here's the crier that trembles, sighs and weeps. We took this mattock and this spade from him as he was coming from the churchyard side.
Great suspicion. Stay the friar too.
What misadventure is so early up that calls our person from our morning rest?
What should it be that is so sweet abroad?
Oh, some people in the streets cry Romeo, some Juliet, and some Paris, and all run with an outcry or a monument. What fear is this that startles in our ears?
Sovereign, here lies the guilty Paris slain. And Romeo dead. And Juliet's dead before Warman knew killed.
Search, seek, and know how the spell murder comes.
Here's a friar and slaughtered Romeo's men with instruments upon them, fit to open these dead men's tombs.
Oh heavens! Oh wife, look how our daughter bleeds.
Oh me, this sight of death is as a bell that brings my old age to a sepulchre. Come, Montague, for thou art early up to see thy son and heir now early down.
What further woe conspires against mine age?
Look, and thou shalt see.
O thou untaught, what man is in this, to press before thy mother to a grave?
Bring forth the parties of suspicion.
I will be brief, for my short date of breath is not so long as is a tedious tale. Romeo, their dead, was husband to that fair Juliet, and she, their dead, that Romeo's faithful wife. I married them.
Capulet, Montague. See what a scourge is laid upon your hate. That heaven finds means to kill your joys with love. And I, for winking at your discords too, have lost a brace of kinsmen. All are punished.
Sister Montague, give me your hand. This is my daughter's jointure, for no more can I demand. But I can give thee more, for I will raise her statue in pure gold, that whilst Verona by that name is known, there shall no figure at such a rate be set as that of true and faithful Juliet. As rich shall Romeo's by his lady's life. Poor sacrifices in our and